Well, have you ever had problems getting really clean details with mica powder in moulds? It really does look beautiful when it's done nicely, but it can be really messy. And most of the time, the colour ends up going everywhere, or you contaminate bits that you don't want to contaminate. So in this video, I'm going to show you an easy but a different way of being able to get some great results using mica powder. Now, the first way I'm going to do, look at all these mica powders I've got out, because I want it to be quite colourful, and I haven't decided which ones I'm going to use yet. The normal way we would do this is we would take a mica powder like this, we would get a brush like that, or I use some small brushes as well, put some on our brush, and then paint it on. And then when we get it in there like that, I don't know if you can see, I've got a lot of excess. So the only way to get rid of that excess is either by shaking it or blowing it out, and then it creates a mess on the side. And we have to take a baby wipe, go in, and we clean that up as best we can. Now, you do get some great results like this, and I've done lots of videos on using this method as well. And I've put powder over everywhere. And it can be quite difficult to get your powders out. Especially if you've got dark powders, you've got to go round with your thing on a bit of stick, clean that up as best as possible without wiping it off where you've already put it. Now I'm going to do this one as a comparison just to show you the difference by using this simple technique. So all I'm doing is with this, I'm dipping my brush in, knocking off the excess like that, and then painting that on the bits where I want it. I want these to be quite colourful. This is a brilliant mould. It's an Easter mould, but it doesn't have to be used just for Easter. I think it would brighten up any child's bedroom. I've also got these little bunnies as well that I'm going to do. These are so cute, and they'd make great key rings. And sometimes, I don't know if it's me or everybody, when you're using one particular colour, like this blue, I'm having a bit of a difficulty seeing if I've got it everywhere. I don't usually use green because it's a colour I can't see very well, and it's not a colour my mum always said looked nice on me. I've never worn it. I don't think I've worn it. I might have worn it. Now I can go around there and tidy this up a little bit in places, trying not to rub off any. I'm also going to colour the inside as well. I don't know how dark this blue is. I'm not sure if it's going to be... No, it's not dark enough. I want quite a... Oh, chocolate. Let's use chocolate. So I'm going to cover everywhere in this chocolate now that I haven't coloured. Brushing that on the mould. I'll link this mould below as well because I think it's a really cute mould, especially the little bunnies. I think they're going to make some great and popular key rings. Surprising how many people love bunnies and have pet bunnies. Big thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. Your names are on my coffee board. Thank you so much. It is honestly people like you that allow me to make these videos and keep going. So you allow me to live my dreams. So thank you. So now there, I've got all that painted in. I'll just get rid of the excess and I'll clear up the rest of this mould before I show you the technique that I'm going to use that gives you much cleaner finish. Oh my god, I've got it everywhere. But then there's nothing new there, is there? Now, I did a video on this probably about 5 years ago, but I thought it was good to revisit it now. And this is where things get messy, isn't it? When we start to flick out all the additional stuff and blow it out and brush different colours in. And if we can avoid that, then that's brilliant. I'm going to be using exactly the same mica powders. I've got a little cheap palette here. I think that cost me about 99 pence. And all I'm doing is taking a little bit of this mica powder and popping it in there. Now what I'm going to use is, I've got 99% alcohol in here. I'm going to drop a few drops in, probably 4 drops to start with from that pipette, get my brush and then see if that is making a liquid. And it has, it's made a really nice liquid and that's painting on really well into my brush. Then all I need to do is move over to here and paint this on where I want it. Now don't have it too thick, and because it's alcohol it will evaporate out really quickly and dry very, very quickly. If you have it too thick, the paint, then what'll happen is if you've got it on too many layers or too thick all at once, you will have a little crack appear sometimes, and you don't want that. Also, if it's too thick, it won't paint on very well, and you'll find that you're having to paint it on by dabbing it on as opposed to painting it on. And you need to stir it after every use as well, because if not, what you'll find is that mica powder will settle in the alcohol. There we go. And we can leave those to dry. And while they're drying, we can just carry on and do our other colours. And it will dry very, very quickly. And to wash your brush out, all you need to do is have a little bit of water there. So I've got a little bit of water, and then I give it a bit of a rinse in a fresh bit and then dry it off on a paper towel. Don't be tempted to wipe this out either. Leave that in there at the moment, and I'll tell you why at the end. So that's nice and dry now. So I can move on to my next colour while these two are drying. Again, I'm going to put probably 4 drops in there to start. I think that's going to need 1 more drop, 5 drops. And now I can give that a bit of a rub round. Is that weak enough? I might have 1 more drop in that. You can already see how much less mess I've made, and the fact is I haven't had to clean up at all anywhere because I've not spread powder everywhere. And you can see much easier where it's going. Move my mould round because I love this colour. Can't think what colour it is, but I do like it. And I'm going to have another one of those there. And this is the part that most people struggle with when they're doing mica powders in resin or on moulds and details, because they get fed up and frustrated with how it just takes so long to keep cleaning up, putting it back on, cleaning up, putting it back on. And instead of like flooding the mould with powder, this keeps it really contained. And I'm getting the colour exactly where I want it. So again, test out your colour first. And look how quickly those have dried out. And you can see how clean those edges are already on there. Much neater, much tidier. And by brushing it on as a powder, you do seem to waste quite a lot of mica powder. And this way, you're not really wasting any. I'll show you why in a minute. So I've nearly finished painting these. I'll just finish off those last few eggs, and then I'll show you how I'm going to finish off the background. Well, I've finished painting those ones. I'm going to put the actual chocolate into the resin when I put it in here. Now, don't forget, once these are dry, they become powder again, so they can be damaged. I've also done these ones as well. We're using the same technique. Well, some using the same technique. Now, what I was going to show you was this. Once it's dry, for instance, in that red one, all you need to do is put another little bit of alcohol in it, stir it around, and you've got your paint again. So that stops you wasting it. Put this somewhere safe where it's not going to get knocked and let it dry out, and you can then revitalise it straight away. So I'm going to mix up my resin now. Let's make some space so I can actually mix up my resin. Put that somewhere safe and have a little bit of a tidy up. So I'm mixing up quite a bit of resin here, and so I've put it in my mixer. I've got the paddle on, and I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes. It takes all the effort out of it mixing it like this. I'll just leave that now for 4 minutes, and then that should be ready. When I'm mixing up a lot like this, I will go around and just scrape those sides and then my stick while it's mixing, to ensure there's nothing stuck to the sides. And the great thing about these mixers, as I've demonstrated before, they don't actually add as many bubbles in as they do if you were doing it by hand. Well, that's had enough time now. Turn the paddle off. Always turn the paddle off before you lift it up. Because if you don't, what you'll find is you'll spread your resin all over the place. And I let that fall off into my resin. Then I get myself a baby wipe and I clean that paddle up straight away with a baby wipe. And now my paddle's nice and clean. I can put it away, ready to use again. Now I want to decant some of this off because I want the bunnies to be white. I'm going to do 100 ml to start with. I didn't measure how much was going to be in those bunnies. And I want that to have a pearlescent mica powder background. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to put a little bit of white pigment paste in my resin and give that a good mix in. And that'll be the base colour. So I'm going to add some white mica powder in there. And then I'm going to give that a really good mix round. Now, adding the mica powder will add, because it's a powder, whenever you add a powder to resin, it will add bubbles. So you will have to watch this afterwards and burst the bubbles that are on the top. And that's got a lovely pearlescent shine to it now. That way you don't have to use as much mica powder and you get a really nice opaque finish. Yeah, I like that a lot. And now I'm going to pour this in slowly over the top of this. Don't forget, this is still... Now it's all dry, these have turned into like a powder, and I don't want them to be moving. So I'm going to pour that in slowly right up to the top, and then leave that to cure once I've finished pouring the rest in. And then what I can do is leave them for about 5 minutes and then go over them with a long neck lighter. Now what I'm going to do is put my chocolate mica powder in here. I haven't got a chocolate pigment and I don't know really what colour chocolate is. So I'm going to have to use a lot more of this in here than I would normally. And then give that a really nice stir in till it's an opaque colour. Yeah, that's gone opaque, that's fine. And then once again, I want to pour that in, both of these fairly slowly. And then I can top them up. That is a lovely colour. I needed half the amount of resin I put in there, I think. So I'll do a blank chocolatey one. And now I'm going to quickly go over those with the long neck lighter. Burst off any bubbles that have come up. Never a torch, not on silicone moulds. Never a torch. Now we'll leave those both to cure overnight. Now, I have got some raising of the mica powder that's come through the white here, and that might be because I didn't leave it quite to be fully dry. We'll have a look at that once it's cured. So that may have not come out as well as I hoped, because I may have rushed that, because it's getting near me tea time. But we will see. Now these are all lovely and cured, we can take a look at them. This is the one where I poured the extra chocolate into it. And as you can see, I didn't do any of the bits in that one. Still looks quite nice, quite chocolatey. And this is the one where I brushed it on. And as you can see, I've got some overspill in areas. It's not as solid as I would like it. And it's not quite as neat as I would like it. And now this is the one where we painted it on using a little bit of alcohol. There we go. You really can see the difference, not only in intensity, but in neatness of the colours. And those colours are not there. They're inside that resin. That resin has soaked into those colours completely. But look how lovely and neat that is, and how much brighter those colours are in comparison to these ones. I use the same colours, so there's a massive difference. So let's have a look at our little bunnies. This is the one I used the painting technique on, and I don't think I'd left it quite long enough to dry because some of it bled through, but it should have still left a nice neat finish to it, which it has. I could have done with painting a little bit more on there, but look how lovely and neat the black outline is, as well as all the other bits. I do love that mould. Love as a little bunny rabbit. And lovely and solid. This one I used a brush on, just to put a bit on its tail. And as you can see, that's come out okay, but not as bright. And there is a little bit of dust contamination. And I did the ears on this one with the paint. And I did the foot there with the paint, and then the foot there with just normal brush on powder. And you can see the difference in the contamination. So that one lovely and neat and clean. That one not so neat and clean. So if you've been struggling to get a really nice, clean and vibrant finish and details to your mould, then this is definitely the way to go. It just takes a tiny little bit of practice, but it's less messy. It's a much easier way to do it, and it gives a completely different finish, as you can see. I love it. I use that method often. And with these moulds comes also some ribbon as well. So if you want to hang these up in a kiddie's bedroom, and I don't believe it just needs to be Easter. I think that they could be any time of year, because it's just nice and bright. You could even put a photograph or something in the back. And if you feel that this is great, or you've used this and you love this technique, or you're going to try this technique, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to know. If you want to see more ways and different materials used in resin that have worked exceptionally well, then check out the video I've got coming up next on the screen. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.